You ever hear of the 3-day rule when it comes to staying at someone's house? It's an old saying that means you shouldn't overstay a visit because guests, like fish, tend to smell after 3 days. That made me think about what I could do to be a good guest that led me to do this video about how basically not to be a jerk. We may not even mean to be a jerk, but somebody 10 feet away from you could be cursing you out for something that you thought was okay or you didn't even mean to do to upset them. I know I've been guilty of laughing with my friends into the night without really thinking that there could be somebody around us that was just tired and wanted to go to sleep. And sometimes I turn my van on early in the morning to heat it up or cool it down, and that may be just as annoying to someone as it is for me to hear a generator go on late at night when I'm trying to sleep. So I get that it's not always intentional, but since I am always trying to learn new things and I have been really learning about what it is to have good etiquette and be a good guest in situations when you are overnight parking, I thought that I would go into how to be a good guest when you are parking your van. First, let's talk about parking at a friend's driveway. Some people call it moochdocking. I remember the first time that I was invited to stay at a friend's house on their driveway, and I was excited, but a little bit anxious too, because this person had gone out of their way to make me feel so welcomed. And so I wanted to know how I could be as gracious a guest as they were a host. I think a very basic consideration is to communicate clearly. It's a good idea to discuss beforehand when you're going to be arriving and when you're going to be leaving, and make sure that your host is okay with the duration of your stay. Another way to be considerate is to respect their space. Go to where they designate that they want you to park, because there could be rules in their neighborhood about parking and you want to respect that. Also, try avoiding blocking anything, whether that's traffic on sidewalks or them getting out of their driveway to go do whatever they need to do. Most people don't want to feel rude by asking you to do certain things, so try to anticipate what might be problematic, and if you aren't sure, just ask them, because they may not want to volunteer that information because they might think that they're being rude. You can also contribute by offering to help around the house with chores or pay for utilities that you're using to show your appreciation for their hospitality. And try to be as self-sufficient as you can. You, after all, are in your tiny home, so when you can cook in your van or use your own amenities like your bathroom or shower, do that, even though most of the time they will offer their space because it is their home. But just be mindful of that, because you don't always want to be walking in at midnight or early in the morning to use their bathroom when they may be sleeping. I know I've been guilty of not asking somebody if there is something that I can do to return the favor, because I think in my head that they'd probably say there isn't anything anyway. But as I've been making this video, I realized that it still is probably a very kind thing to offer that up. And if you have any suggestions for other things that you can do to be a good guest, especially if you're a host, to help us out with how we can be better, please let us know in the comments. Next, I want to cover public parking lots. Whether it's a rest area or a supermarket parking lot or even a truck stop, being respectful makes a huge difference. You'll want to check for any signs that there are parking restrictions or time limits. Oh, and there's a ladybug. Hi. Come here. Look. Most rest areas allow for overnight parking unless it's otherwise indicated that there are certain hours for that. Some don't let you stay for more than a few hours, so you are to rest up and then get on your way. Even though certain stores like Walmart, Cracker Barrel, and Bass Pro Shops are very welcoming to overnight stays, cities and counties can still have regulations that limit that, and it can make it illegal for you to park overnight. So if a store manager or somebody in authority asks you to leave, like a security guard, don't put up a fight about it, just leave and know that they're just doing their jobs. And if you aren't sure, just ask a store manager. Go inside and say, hey, I've got a camper van, I'm only going to be staying the night. Is it okay if I stay here? And they'll let you know right away. And then ask them where to park if it is okay to stay, because a lot of them have designated areas in their parking lot where they want people who are camping to stay. Then try to be discreet. Don't put out your awnings and camp chairs and tables and cook outside. It is not meant to be a place where you set up camp. It's just meant to be a place where you can rest safely and then go to wherever you can go actually camp. It's a show of respect to both the store and to others who may be parked around you who are on a slightly different schedule than you are. You also want to be safe because you are still in a public place, and that means that just as you are allowed to stay there, anybody else can stay there too. So always park in a well-lit area and lock your doors, even if you are inside your van. And please, please, please apply the leave no trace principles in a parking lot just as anywhere else, which means to leave the place better than how you found it. Now let's talk about campgrounds. Campsites are perfect for a more traditional camping experience, but you still want to be a good guest. Follow campground rules and etiquette. Each campground can be a little bit different, so you want to check those out while you enter an area. They sometimes are posted on billboards, or get a list of things that they give you when you're checking in. Respect quiet hours. Those too can be different at different places, but sound really travels when you're out in the wilderness or near water especially. So you want to observe those times when the campground basically shuts down at night. Like I said, I've been guilty of this as I've been enjoying my time with friends. It's easy to lose track of time and really not realize how loud you're being. So when you start to hear shh or somebody yelling to keep it down, don't get mad. Just take that as a sign to take it down a notch or to be a little bit quieter or take it indoors or just start to get ready for sleep as well. Also, be neighborly. You can greet others around you, but be mindful of their space. Some people would rather be alone or with their own group, so respect that. And even though you may be just wanting to talk and be friendly, make sure the other person or group is open to it before you just pull up your chair and invite yourself over. Also, don't walk through occupied sites. Most campgrounds have designated paths and very well-maintained areas that you can walk through, so try to stick to those. It can be really creepy when you hear footsteps outside your rig, even if it is just another camper passing through your site. And of course, always use their designated trash bins to throw trash out. If there aren't any, pack it out. Just like anywhere, if you don't see those designated spots or if they're just overrun by garbage, pick it up and pack it out. And finally, we have to talk about public land. Boondocking or camping on dispersed public land offers a lot of freedom, but it also means responsibility. So know the regulations. Different public land has different rules. You can check those online, and the most important one is probably that you are allowed to stay for 14 days in an area and then move on. Sometimes, though, that is different, so you have to look for posting just in case in an area that for some reason is not permissible because of the situation, or something may be happening in that area, like a forest fire or some other emergency or thing that you don't know about. So you really want to be vigilant and look for those signs, because they will be posted. And if you're in doubt, look online, because there may be a reason that you're not allowed to stay in an area. And here again, you want to follow the leave no trace principles. I've posted them elsewhere, but if I remember, I'll try to post it again in the description. You can find them online. They're basic principles about leaving a place as pristine as you find it, which means to pack out whatever you pack in and don't leave any garbage behind. Don't feed or approach wildlife, because that is just as dangerous for them as it is for you. And try to minimize your impact on the environment by sticking to designated paths if there are some, and not leaving behind a big campsite unless there's already one there. Then you can keep it there, but try to break down things as much as you can so that it looks like nobody was there. I know most of you watching probably already know these things, but maybe there are a few things that you didn't think of or didn't know. Let me know in the comments if I've missed anything, or if you have a crazy or funny story that you want to share. I hope there are no really awful ones, but we can all learn from other people's experiences. So if you have something to share, feel free. My hope is that we have mutual consideration when we're enjoying an area that we get to explore. Respect and responsibility always go a long way, no matter where we are. If you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and share it with others who might need to be reminded of these things. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.